Get into a league that returned after 2 years. Imagine 2 years, such a long time. The Uganda Netball Super League did return last weekend, or just last couple of days. And Nick, of course, taking on KCC was the biggest game of the weekend, the game that KCC did win by just 1 goal. We had some reactions from the game, fascinating reactions from the coaches. Rashid Mubiru of Nick, Mugerwa Fred of KCCA, and then Nassim, a player, and then also Lunkuse, the other player, after the weekend games.
The way how they are officiating the game, it's not the international rules, what they are doing. They are doing something which is funny on the court, umpires. Because somebody comes and hit from the first quarter, second quarter, he does not win. When you look at the way how they are officiating the game, it's not the international rules, what they are doing. They are doing something which is funny on the court, umpires. Because somebody comes and hit from the first quarter, second quarter, he does not win. The rules say if somebody does something intentionally, you have to warn or you advance the penalty. Yes. I'm just going to work on middle field because we had a problem in the middle field because the other opponent were using advantages of umpire, pulling the hands when they are passing the ball towards the circle. So they used that advantage because sometimes the umpires were not watching that style of pulling the hand when somebody is releasing the ball. Because of poor positioning, they couldn't see. Since this is a league, there are many teams to play. When you lose the first round, you make sure you win the second round. Actually, it has cost us as a team which is strong, but we just need to go back on the board and we train.
Not happy.
Those are tough words from Rashid Mubiru, the head coach of Nick Netball Club. The umpires don't understand what they are doing. These are not international standards. The other team won because they are pulling my players in the center and the umpires are not seeing. So basically, KCCA did not beat this team. The umpires beat Nick.
Yeah.
That's what Rashid Mubiru is saying.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a tough assessment, I must say.
Yeah, of course.
And the league has just returned just 1 round.
Mm-hmm.
So that's real concern.
Yeah, of course it is. The fact that Rashid Mubiru, the coach of Nick, has pointed out something that is going to awaken so many people's attention and focus on the game. Clearly, the Netball Uganda Federation, they got to look into it and try and see whether there is some validity in the things that he said. I think it's only important that the questions that he raises or the complaints that he made are put into consideration to see if there's validity in what he says. Yeah. Then I think his issues have got to be addressed. If there's no validity, then you think that sometimes you would judge him as bringing the game into disrepute.
Yeah, but also I think given
loser.
Yeah, but also given the scoreline, you're thinking 40-39, it could have gone to the wire, and maybe
it went to the wire.
And maybe some of the calls, maybe the umpires thought both teams were going toe-to-toe with each other, and some of the calls you think maybe the umpires were just reluctant not to call them. If it was a big margin, you could think maybe, yeah, they were not calling. But I think because it was a seesaw game, the umpires could only call so much.
Yeah, but
because
again,
clearly it was physical.
Yeah, I think someone needs to remind him what he's talking about is, I think it's a hymn in Ugandan sport. Almost every sport complains about umpires. So it's the same thing, though. The way it goes about, sometimes you have to give your opponent credit. I don't think he does that. Let's listen in to Fred Mugerwa. We see if he actually does give his opponents a bit of credit. Rashid Mubiru, I believe that he was beaten hands down. Feels like he's actually quite convinced. If without the umpires, Nick is winning. Let's listen in though to what Fred Mugerwa had to say.
It's a good start for us, although the way we have prepared wasn't all that good enough. But I thank God that we have won today. The girls played according to the instructions. Although we made some other simple mistakes that almost cost us the game, but I'm thankful that we won it. Yeah, Okay, what I saw here today was that some players because of lack of training, where the movement were not good, and some passes were easily being intercepted, especially when it came to up front. And also our defense, the way they were marking, it wasn't good. That we failed to intercept many goals. Apart from those missed rebounds, that's what we did. But there are some interceptions that we couldn't make, which I think to me were easy interception, but because of the way they were moving, they were not able to make them. Yeah, obviously. We miss her because you know how working rate when she comes on the goal attack. She works very hard. But I think she had a problem. And I think maybe next week, if she has finished that problem she is with, because she told me the brother was admitted for almost 1 month in a bomb hospital. And his leg was amputated. So in fact, she was coming back from Arua yesterday. And I think she should be around. Yeah, there was a bit of tiredness. As I was saying, that our training wasn't all that good. So I think they worked a lot during the first 2 quarters. So in the third quarter, there was a problem. That's why you saw me substituting some players, especially the center player and the goal attack, the GS, who I made sure that they come out, they rested a bit, and then I took them back.
Yeah, contrasting reactions from coach. Usually, of course, when you win, you're more calm, you're more composed. Even when there are problems with the umpires, you're a bit reluctant and hesitant, I think, to say a word or two. But the concerns are the concerns you'd expect. Even when we had him here, he was talking about the time the league was announced, the fixtures, you barely had enough time. And I think it's what he also saw on court, players looking a bit rusty. But you hope that as games go by, they should be able to improve. Yeah,
of course, you expect that the league should be quite an exciting one because it's quite competitive. You look at the kind of popularity that netball definitely has in the country following that World Cup performance a couple of years ago, and then you look at the fact that a number of these players are now playing abroad, so there's more traction towards it. And I think that also teams are working to improve their players so that they can challenge the status quo of the big teams, that is NIC, KCCA, and prisons. So what we're looking forward to seeing is a highly competitive side. Now, the irony here, by the way, is that Margaret Bagala plays for KCCA Leopards and then plays for NIC.
Huh? Yeah. I thought you were talking about the sister. Interesting, yeah.
You know, it is quite ironic. Yeah. So she receives payment from KCCA Leopards in basketball, and then she goes to NIC and
pays. That's how they end up making a mistake, and they pay twice for both basketball and basketball. So they disaster, and that will be fraud. By government standards. Anyways, guys, let's, Vienna has just talked about the players. Let's listen in to 2 of those, Lumkuse and Nassim.
Well, since this has been our first game, it has been a teamwork. I know NIC is a very strong team, but we worked hard as a team, and we came up with this win. It means a lot since it has been our first game. You know, you're supposed to win each and every game you play when it comes to the league. It's not like a gala or any tournament. So I'm so excited and looking forward to the next games. Well, I think KCCA is stronger than NIC because we were leading them like with 5 goals, but then we did a few mistakes. But then at the end of the day, we won. So the mistakes don't matter. Well, the rest of the teams should prepare for KCCA because we are going to come stronger, come other games.
Yeah, of course, I feel bad. We expected a win from today's game. Since today has been our first game of the league, we really feel bad as Team NIC, and it has been a competitive game between us, NIC and KCCA, but maybe it wasn't our day. Yeah, we shall go back, rectify on our mistakes, next time better. No. Beating us doesn't mean that KCC is going to win the trophy or that we are out of the brackets of winning the trophy. Yeah, because what defines us is how we raise back after falling. So when they have beaten us, but we are coming back stronger. We have the second round again. We shall meet them. Yeah.
Okay, so how how do you look at the next 2 games of the league?
Of course, the mistakes we've done today, we are going to go back, work on them, then we come back stronger. Yeah.
Nassim Mutes has said in the second round, they will do what? Whoop them, not beat them. They will whoop them. KCCA, be wary. They are going to whoop you in the second round. That's what I say. But you talk about Bagala playing for Nick in netball and KCCA for basketball. But you didn't talk about the sister playing for KCCA who's Lukusa. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good picture. That's the sister. And they're both playing center.
Yeah.
So that's she had retired, I think. But I think she decided to come back. She was missing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd heard that she had. She wasn't, because remember she was part of the Chic Range team that went to the last World Cup. It must have been the one of Liverpool.
Yeah.
But
no. South Africa.
Was she in South Africa?
She was on the team, yes.
Ah, okay.
She
So
was.
I remember, Liverpool feels a long time ago.
I think she was
South
a wing
Africa. So
attacker.
after that, she did not, I think, play again for